I'd like to welcome you to the Friday Thought for the Day. Our words are actually from the prayer that we shared last night and we'll be sharing on Sunday morning. Lord, help me understand. Enough is okay. I don't always have to do more or be more or try to be someone I was never meant to be. I think of those words a lot. I think a lot of us, we wonder if we do enough, if we're good enough, and we often maybe try to be someone that we weren't meant to be, trying to meet other people's expectations. And one of the things that you have taught me over the years, and I sincerely mean this, is that you have taught me that enough is enough. Enough is okay. That one of the most important gifts that I think our church brings to people is that you're accepted for who you are and what you are. I've often said there are no strangers here. You know, whether you're the kind of person that walks in the church door once or twice a year, whether you're here every single Sunday or Thursday, or whether you have a church or don't have a church, that you treat everybody with respect and with dignity. And that's the gift that our little church can bring to the world. I thought about that yesterday. I had a funeral for a family that didn't have a church. And the gentleman that passed away was, he was only 70 years old, which seems young to me. He was a marathoner. He was just I guess a really, really good guy. And they had an experience with a funeral in their family just recently, and I guess they're kind of nervous because they couldn't find a church and they couldn't find a minister. And at the funeral, I guess the minister kind of ran in kind of late and did the funeral and left. And so when they talked to the funeral director, they said, I know we don't have a church, but well, anyway, they didn't have a church and they were stuck with me. And I talked to the wife on the phone, and then I got there a little early and talked to a couple people and met a couple people for whom I had baptized their grandkids. And we talked about the deceased, and we had the funeral. It was a very simple funeral, nothing fancy at all, over at Colonial. And I talked about how the person that died, his humanity was his religion. And afterwards, somebody comes up to me and they said, Don, you must have been really, really good friends with the gentleman who passed away. And I said, well, I never met him. And he said, what do you mean? I said, I had never met him. I talked to his wife, and he said, but you talked like you knew him. And I told him, I said, you know, I'm the minister of a church, All Saints. And we're not a big church, we're a humble church. But the people in my church have taught me that our humanity is a gift, and we are who we are. And our door is always open to people who are not supposedly a part of our community. And that's why I can come and do a funeral and share in their humanity, because that's what we want to do. We want that door to be open. And I really believe there are no strangers. You know, I didn't know him. But on the same time, we're bound together by the beauty and the power of the human spirit. And when you feel that way about strangers, then there are no strangers. And that's the gift that you bring to me and to the church and to people like the person that we buried yesterday. You make them feel welcome, and you make them feel whole, and you make them feel important. And when I walk into a situation like that, and whenever I walk in here any Sunday morning or a Thursday night, I realize that just being who you are is okay. That enough is okay. And as long as we don't try to pretend to be somebody we're not meant to be, then we're genuine, and our humanity brings us together. I don't know how it is with you at the end of the day, but sometimes at the end of the day I look back on what's happened and I have a tendency to think of all the things I didn't get done or didn't do. And I guess what I need to do more of, and maybe all of us do, is at the end of the day we look back and, yeah, there's probably stuff we could have done or should have done, but maybe just think of one thing that we did to make the world a better place and realize at the end of the day, that's enough. And as long as we're true to ourselves, as long as we can accept each other for who we are, as long as we can look back on the day and realize that if we just did one or two things, that's okay, because tomorrow is another opportunity. I think that's one of the gifts that I hope our church brings to the world, that the door is open, that there are no strangers. And when you can bring that gift of acceptance to each other and to people we don't even know, then that binds us together and brings peace and goodness and kindness into a world that oftentimes isn't peaceful and isn't good and isn't very kind. But that power of kindness and that open door, that brings us together. It's always good to talk to you. I look forward to sharing with you on Sunday morning at 8:30 and 11 o'clock. Thanks for listening.